Recently, we discovered through a new friend that Gary Kramer, founder of legendary Kramer Guitars, was not only a fan of our show, but was interested in coming on as a guest. Having owned many Kramer guitars over my lifetime, this opportunity was very close to the heart, and to say we were excited would be putting it very mildly. But there is a catch. In the words of Gary himself, I don't think a simple webcam is going to capture what you can see here firsthand. How about you and your team come here to my place, stay here as my guests, and you can experience everything in person. The only caveat to making this happen was that we live almost 3,000 miles away. Being that we are going to be in Los Angeles for the 2019 Winter NAMM Convention, separated from there by only a 4.5-hour drive, the planets aligned and this opportunity became a reality. And this is our story.
Well, good morning again. I feel a little better from the interview yesterday. Namthrax is leaving me. Lots of Advil. No whiskey, though. Not tonight. Anyway, we're now at, we call it Gary Kramer Guitar Cellars, C-E-L-L-A-R-S. After we've made all that wine, we needed a place to put it. So as you can see, Eric, this is pretty much our cellar, our wine bar. Over here we have a tribute to Leo Scala, who is my luthier from Moscow. He called me from there and he said, Gary, I've just invented the first ergonomically correct guitar ever, and I'd like to put your name on it, come back to the States and work on it. I said, well, send me a picture of it. So he shot me a picture and I said, geez, that's like the ugliest guitar I've ever seen in my life. Does it really work? So he had a Beretta in Moscow, sold it for $1,700, still has his ticket stub, came out here, sat on my pool table, played this guitar, showed me how it worked, and I thought about it, and I said, well, everybody thought I was crazy for making aluminum neck guitars in the past, so I said, let's give it a shot. So we went into production with these particular models right here and pretty much sold everything that we made. Let's move over here. This is the back of the tasting room bar. Well, first of all, how about if we show Delta Girl here? So Delta Girl is riding the horns of a dilemma, and that's where I was at with Leo when he first brought the guitar, because I had no idea. So I had a tattoo artist that did some tattoos on my arm, and I gave him the concept, and he gave me 4 or 5 renderings of this girl. And the one that I picked was the one with the red panties. Linger Longer Lounge Bar. If you focus up here, Eric, you'll see that this bar used to be a garage door, and I used to keep my cars in here because the vineyard that we were on now had nothing but dirt roads. And I was involved in car shows, and when I got the cars detailed up there, drove them down the dirt road to the paved road, as you know what would happen. So I'm OCD with my cars, so one day I was driving by this building. It was for sale, it was perfect, I kept all my cars in here, but I never came down here anymore to use them. It was just too far away, it was different. So I built a car barn at the property, paved the roads, and now we had an empty building, because you can't have a wine tasting room and serve beer at the same time unless you fill certain criterias. One is a commercial kitchen, and 2, you have to prepare something on the property that people actually enjoy and drink. And she makes an Alicante Boucher, which the secondary fermentation takes place in the refrigerator, so we qualified. So ABC said, you qualify. So now I needed a place to put a beer keg, and I didn't build this for beer. So if you see this JCM 900 right here, it's got 410 bottom on it. You got that, Eric? pull the 410s off, and there you go. You got a full 2 pony keg. All right. If anybody's interested in doing that at home, it's pretty easy. This is the new beer line that we just come out with. A friend of mine's making it for me. This is a double IPA, and we call it the 5150 Kramer Crazy. All the cops love it. Can't imagine why. For his birthday, he made this Bentley guitar here. Let me put it over here so you guys can see a little better. But it's in a relic, because Bentley has so much history behind it. So he took one of the original aluminum necks, as you can see back here, and he turned it into a beautiful Bentley guitar, which plays wonderful. It weighs as much as a Les Paul. Not quite as much as a Les Paul. All right, so let's move over here. And that bottle of wine I gave you, Eric, guess what goes on top of it to seal it?
Perfect.
So that one's for you. I don't know, did you see one of these yet? No. All right, so over here we have a little swag. Just part of what we do here. On this wall here we have Stanley Clark. I was telling Eric that Stanley was our very first endorsee with the aluminum neck bass. Shows him proud in the back of Dennis Berardi's music store, Grayson's in town, right on 48th Street between Manny's and Sam Ash, which is not there anymore, you know. Somebody bought Manny's sign for, I think, $20,000-$30,000. Obviously, as you can see with all the guitars, they've never left me. They're always around me and surrounded me. But I'm always looking for something else to do. So I planted 1,200 olive trees, Castelvetranos, about 6 years ago. First harvest, made olive oil. Got a gold medal. Second harvest, second year, got a gold medal. Got a silver medal the year after that. And we haven't entered our wine yet into anything. We're going to do it this year for the first time. So hopefully I'll be as lucky with my wine as I've been with everything else, including the olive oil. It's amazing. This guitar was made not by my wife, but made by Leo for me for my 60th birthday, because this is a Camaro guitar. It's got a little amp meter right here, and here's a picture of the actual guitar, or actual Camaro right there. But this one here was a tribute to Kiss. This was a window here, and I didn't want anybody looking in and trying to break in and steal any of the stuff, so I covered the window up, and I figured I'll put Gene Simmons. It says on here, if you take a look, it says that this is 188 of 1,000. And from what I understand, I wasn't there when they made these, but for what I understand, they only made probably 300 of these, maybe less. So Eric, right here, this is the Travis Bean section, and this is pretty much where Kramer started. You know, Travis and I started the Travis Bean Company in 1971. I've got some memorabilia here that goes with it. But if you focus on those black and white pictures right there, you'll see Travis actually filing down by hand a billet of 2x4 6061 T6 aluminum all the way down to a guitar neck. A lot of work. And if you focus on this, this is the Rolling Stones tour, and if you look at that little letter right there, that's all written by Mick Jagger, and that was my first order. And this is them using it on stage. I actually took that picture at the Forum. Not too bad, huh? Some more memorabilia. I signed my name differently back then. That's strange. But paid to the order of Gary Kramer and signed by Gary Kramer. Here's some exclusive stuff with Jerry Garcia. He was a big fan of the Travis Bean. And that was his guitar right there, that white one. And we move up, there's an arrow here. It says the Kramer Forum Lounge. Okay, we're going to move into one of the lounge areas right here. And this is pretty much, one wall is kind of attributed to Mr. Van Halen. And just, just various things that I've collected through the years, to put in showcases. A lot of people come in here, believe it or not, they have no idea who Eddie Van Halen is, or Jerry Garcia, or Mick Jagger. So they learn a lot. They're young people still, but they're all in awe when they come in. Focus in on this little light right here. Leo Scala has now turned into a guitar art guy, and you can actually put any one of your most famous guitar players or people inside there. And it's Bluetoothable too, so you can Bluetooth to it and you can play music through it. So the assistant editor for the San Luis Obispo Tribune comes in one day and he's showing me all these pictures on his iPhone. And he says, I make guitar out of cigar boxes. And I said, get out of here, really? So he showed me pictures, and I said, could you make one for me? And he says, no problem. But I said, I smoke Cohibas, but you have to do it with a Cohiba box. And it's got to be a real Cohiba box because all the old Cohiba boxes were signed by Fidel Castro. All of them were. So I gave him a neck, strings, pickups, knobs. I gave him everything I had laying around, which I have still a lot. And he comes back and has this one right here. And as you can see right here, it's signed by Fidel Castro. I go, where in the world did you get that? And he goes, I bought it off of eBay for you. And it sounds terrific. We're going to have Eric play it in a little bit. All right, so let's move over here. We've got the Jersey Star. It's unfortunate. This one here in the picture hangs at the Hard Rock in Vegas, which I understand now is going to be either torn down or something's going to happen with it. But all this memorabilia in there is probably going to go in storage somewhere. So this is kind of neat because a lot of people have absolutely no idea what's inside of a guitar. So while I was up here on those few days that I wasn't planting grapes or pruning olive trees, I went into the shop and took this apart and kind of explained the way a guitar looks like inside. Got a Farrington up here, kind of rare. Some more memorabilia with Kramer. Kramer sticks its neck out to give you a better instrument. And here, this is kind of interesting. Before I left in 2009 with Leo, we were doing prototypes at this place called Vipertech in Torrance, and I was driving Porsches at the time. So I said, I think it would be a great idea to build a guitar for Porsche and add leather to it, and then kind of come up with an idea where the leather would match the inside of the interior and the finish would be the same finish as the car. And we came up with this one, using lace pickups in there because they look a little more automotive than your standard pickups. I wish I could take it out for you, but these are locked, so you can see the back of it. So from that, we moved into a guitar called the Bondage. And we used a mahogany neck, and we used an original 70s Kramer headstock plate. So it's not the whole thing, but it's just a plate that fits on there. And what's neat about this particular guitar here is the fingerboard is actually inlaid into the neck. It's not glued onto the neck. It's inlaid into the neck. So it's never going to move. Wrapped in leather again. And it's called the Bondage because when I made it, I came downstairs with it, and my wife was working with me at the time. I said, what are we going to call this? It's got to have a name. She goes, obviously, it's got leather wrapped around it. We'll call it Bondage. And before those came out, and before I met Leo, and I had nothing to do, I was still living in Los Angeles, I made this one. This is a Pacer body that it took me about 5 or 6 automotive interior guys to kind of figure out how to wrap leather around a complete guitar body and do French stitching all the way around. And then I said, what do I use for a pick guard here? So I went up to a friend of mine who makes dashboards for Bentley and Jaguars, and he made this pick guard out of Bentley dashboard material. And I said, what do I use for knobs? So I went over to a Bentley dealer. I said, I lost my knobs from my Bentley, so I bought 3 knobs from a Bentley radio and stuck them on there. Guitar plays beautiful, by the way. No name on the headstock, just the same finish that was on the dash is on the headstock. And Eric, you know, I don't know if I told you, but I was in the Marine Corps, and I wanted to do a tribute to the Marine Corps. So one of my last guitars, I've only made 20 of these, but that is a World War I recruiting poster on there. Airbrushed. Everyone was airbrushed by hand. So you can see the eagle landing with the Semper Fidelis. And I made 20 of these. I sold 15, and I still have 5 left. They all came with dog tags, and the dog tags had the actual buyer's name stamped into them. And then last over here is the last prototype we made for Porsche, but this one has leather on the face and all finished in black on the side. I don't think any of you guys have ever seen the crematorium, but this is a very cool guitar. I don't think you saw the back of the neck. All right. Did you see the back of the neck last night or not?
No.
This is a very cool guitar. And if you look, Gibson has just come out with a model, and if you look at it, it'll resemble this almost to a T. But this is new, old. So we made this probably in 2005, 6, something like that. And then just other various guitars hanging around. This section right here is an area where when people come into the bar and they start bragging to me how good they can play, well, I send them up here. I say, plug in. But if you suck, I've heard a lot of guitar players on my left. If you suck, I'm bringing you down. So I bring a lot of guys down. But sometimes I'm surprised. I'll sit back and, oh, geez, you're a shredder, man. There you go, Derek. What else does Derek get?
It's a t-shirt, a hat.
All right, Dave, this is for you, buddy. All right. Gary Kramer Guitar Cellars.com to get the full view of everything.
Thank you so much, Gary.
Remember that?
That's fun.
Okay. Yeah. Your bottle of wine? Where is it?
It's in one of my suitcases.
I should sign it for you.
That'd be great.
Glows on me. I almost feel you breathing. Your karma drives me crazy. I want you for me. I've laid a bed with many, but never one to marry. This inside is scary. Let's begin this journey. I want you. We all need a little love, something warm to celebrate and give this world away. Locked inside my cover where no one else can see. The forces pull together, suspicious minds can be. Come into my circle, 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 come into my circle.
Time go, I know there's gonna
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check out our full lineup of Kramer Corner merchandise available for purchase right now at broadstash.com.